Hey guys, it's Karishkur here, yet again with another game. This time, an unfair match due to the simple fact that I'm Diamond and my opponent was Platinum. But I want to continue the tradition of analyzing matchups against different civs. In this situation, I'm playing against Rus. And I'm going to start by saying that Rus is an interesting matchup. You have the Rus player who is going to use scouts in order to get the bounty, the deer. And the question arises whether you, as Mongols, should try to deny the Rus deer, or if you should focus on your own sheep. And I want to look in retrospect at this game, because my first reaction is to go on the right side of the map and to check for sheep. Also, I got the sheep from here. Another thing that you should do is not to take the sheep and to bring it to the town center, but the sheep will always follow the ger, which is pretty cool. So you can just get some sheep from here maybe, and then send your ger back to the gold. And you can do this by the time you are rallying villagers onto food. And you should take your ger back only when you start rallying your villagers to gold. So you have some time at your disposal to actually use the ger properly. So okay, to answer the question, the previous question, every time I see a patch of deer, I don't kill all of them. I kill maybe 2-3 deer, and that's kind of it. And I try to micromanage my Khan if I have nothing else to do. I should have killed this one, so it's not good to leave a deer hurt, because I feel sorry for the deer. I mean, it's hurt, it probably has an arrow in its leg and it's still alive. It's pretty painful. Yeah, on a side note, I kind of made his life easier a little bit, the life of my opponent. So yeah, this is how I micromanage my deer. So I just shoot one deer, go a few steps, shoot a deer, go another step, go one more step, shoot the deer, and yeah, that's kind of it. Of course, it's strange that the Rus player doesn't have a second scout. Oh, he does. He does. Don't bother with wolves. Going for double horseman, just because with a double horseman you can kill a patch of deer much easier. So instead of sending your units to your opponent's base, I think it's much better to play it safe and kill the deer. Why not? Meanwhile, town center is idle. I'm bringing in the horseman, still scouting with the Khan, so I decided this round I'm not going to send my horseman in his base. And I have noticed that sometimes you can even follow your opponent's scouts with your horsemen, which is also a cool idea, I think. Also, I could have spread out the horsemen, because one shot, one kill. Now I have denied his gold, and I'm getting the extra sheep. So yeah, currently aging up. With the Rus, it's like with Abbasids. They are going to go for the second town center. So this is what you're aiming for. Whenever you're aging up, and they are aging up, you should go and find the stone. I should have done this much earlier. So I should have already camped. One funny thing that is happening here is this. I didn't notice him I don't know what I was going to say. Still, yeah, I didn't check his base. No, I was too focused on getting deer, on getting sheep and deer and all that. But the problem with Rus is that they have the Kremlin. You can't even see how far the Kremlin goes. And they're much better defended than, for example, Abbasids. He didn't notice my horsemen just passing through. Yeah, just transiting from one part to the other. And this is problematic because he has this area defended, he has this area defended, so his base is like in a straight line. And it's really hard to go from one part of the base to the other. But this is what I should have done earlier. And maybe I should have created another horseman to get the villagers much faster. So yeah, at this point, creating 2 Keshik. Knowing that my opponent will go for second town center, I decided to also go for trade to compensate for the economy. Killing 1 villager was nice. The militia is harmless. I don't know why he didn't garrison. So I'm bringing in my sheep. I'm still very focused on this side of the map. But he is going to get his stone eventually. But I actually got 2 villager kills, which is pretty good. So only by these 2 villager kills, I have quite a big advantage. Keshik versus militia is no problem. And these 2 militias, I think they would have been an easy kill even for 3 horsemen. So instead of creating a scout, I think I should have created a 3rd horseman. And usually the process of the opponent is like this. They're going to gather stone, then they're going to gather wood, and the town center will go to the gold. So this is like your second chance to intercept 2 or 3 more villagers maybe. I could have actually attacked this town center actually, or not, I'm not sure. The Kremlin is very strong. Yeah, so in order to compete with his economy, I'm going for trade. And I'm going to protect this trade intensively. Another thing is to expect units. Most probably the Rus knights, which are a bit better than the Keshik. But that's okay, as long as you have Keshik, then that's okay. And I have talked about unit composition previously and the proportion between horsemen and Keshik. So depending on your opponent, you want to go more horsemen or more Keshik. If you're trying to go for a fast castle, then you should go for horsemen. It's more efficient, resource efficient. If you're facing like a Rus knight attack, then it's more efficient to get more Keshik to be on the same level with your opponent. The militia is very good for your Keshik to heal. So you can attack your opponent's militia in order to heal up your Keshik. So it's good to provoke the Rus player in order to send the militia. Also, Keshik and healing get some resources out of destroying buildings that are not in town center range. It's 50 resources, and you can heal your Keshik. Always scout out what your opponent is doing, because at one point they're going to be without resources. So just make sure that you're covering your opponent's resources and looking at what they are doing. In this case, my opponent will go for this deer. Okay, let's get back to this base. I have been talking about base layout in a previous video about market routes, and one thing to keep in mind is the fact that once you create a market route, you will have a straight line from your market to the trading post, and this is going to be the layout of your base. I have mentioned previously that the Rus player is in a straight line, so his base is like from here to here, so it's a line. And this is what happens on this map. You always have like linear bases in one way or another, and these linear bases, you have to consider which side you're going to raid, because getting from this side to the other is a very long distance. Except if you want to go from here to there, it's a very risky move. I was very lucky when I got the horseman from here to here, because he didn't spot out the horseman with the town center. So getting back to the line, okay, I have a market route, 5 traders, and along the market route you can establish some checkpoints that you defend with outposts. It's also good to create an outpost here in order to have your traders garrison in case the trade route is being attacked. Okay, so having wheelbarrow is practical. I'm getting textiles as well because I'm expecting knights to raid my base, and my base is pretty spread out, so it's really cool to have the textiles. Let's see how the villagers' stats will change. I think I wasn't paying attention, so I think the typical villager health is, I don't know, 25. Ah, he was getting textiles. Okay, okay. Yeah, so the typical HP of the villager is 25. Anyway, textiles didn't save him here from me getting 3 villagers. And I'm still in the villager lead, which is cool. So 46 villagers for me and 43 for him. So if your opponent is going for a second town center, he's probably going to stick in Castle Age, in Feudal Age. Noticing him going for knights meant to me that, yeah, he is going to stay in this age. So I'm pumping up units as well. I'm always careful with my traders, so I always keep an eye on the minimap and look what my traders are doing, and usually I save them. And I leave the villagers as bait sometimes. So if my army was here, and I noticed him seeing the villagers, and he got greedy, wanted to kill them, but he didn't manage to do so because my army was there, and I dragged my villagers in the other direction. Okay. So now I'm just following him. I'm focusing on my base. I'm soon going to go for Castle Age because I'm confident that this army is much stronger than his. It's very hard to know what your opponent is doing sometimes, especially if he's going like somewhere in the corner for food, for boar, for deer. I guess it's good to have a scout to check out areas like these. Maybe keep a scout here, keep a scout here somewhere. That's also a good tip. Rus, you always want to challenge them, you always want to fight them, because you don't want the Rus to go to Imperial Age. That's very dangerous. When they go and get the Streltsies, it's pretty dangerous to play against Rus. Noticing him going for many knights, I have decided to make a barracks to have a secondary army, and only now is he catching up on villagers. Yeah, Rus Knights much stronger than Keshik. So yeah, maybe just run and let them chase you a little bit. They're slow, they're slower than the Mongolai, so it's a good idea to let them chase you a little bit, so don't take these fights head on, especially not if the army is weak like this. And this is an army that needs to go back to the base and heal at the Kurultai and at the temple. Opponent is making some farms in the back of the base. Base layout is not that bad. I mean, he could have gotten the berry bushes. I see he's intending to do so, yeah. I think this base layout is okay, but I would have built the wall maybe a bit closer to the berry bush, like this. Especially after you notice, okay, there is no more danger here in this area, because I attacked him only to get the stone. Let's get back to the regular mode and see what I'm seeing. Okay, getting the relics is also one of the things you want to do once you reach castle, especially if you know that you have attacked your opponent, if you feel that your army is better than his. Make sure to take the relics. Create traders. One villager down. The villager died because I was going to build the Uvu. So at one point, especially on this map, I'd like to take the big Uvu maybe. So there are many possibilities, and I suggest building the Uvu once your first Uvu is depleted. You can build a second, maybe here, maybe this one, and just let it gather the stone. You don't really need to build anything there, except if you want to go for a blacksmith to get the upgrades of the blacksmith. Then you can put the blacksmith on the Uvu, or maybe you can pick a closer Uvu, an Uvu that is closer to your base. Okay, you would need the blacksmith upgrades in order to get the advanced siege engineerings, although at this point I don't have too many infantry units to build siege engines with. So I always consider just building the siege workshop itself, even get the research to have faster siege engines. So I guess there are two possibilities: go for the siege workshop or get the improved siege engineering. Along the market route, as you can see, I have a few towers. I have villagers gathering gold. These towers are towers that you should upgrade with springled emplacements, so that's why you need to make sure that you have stone, that you're gathering stone. When it comes to stone and double producing units, for me stone is very relevant in the Feudal Age, and it becomes less relevant in the Castle Age, because in the Castle Age I prefer to get upgrades and towers with the stone that I have. When you know that your opponent's towers and buildings are undefended, then you should go for buildings. I think one of the mistakes that my opponent was doing was building horse archers. I don't understand why he did that. I guess he thought it would be a good counter to my army, but it is not. And in my opinion, Mongolai are stronger than the horsemen, and I want to check this. So I really want to compare these two units. So let's compare the veteran Mongolai, which you can get in the 3rd age, to the horse archer. So the Rus horse archer has 85 HP. You can only create it in the Castle Age, which is a disadvantage, in my opinion. It's cheaper because it costs wood instead of gold, only 80 instead of the 120. But the Mongols can double produce the horse archers, which is also relevant, something to keep into consideration. And damage, let's see, 13 damage with the upgrades. Mongols, even worse, it's 8 damage. Okay, so the horse archer are much better in terms of damage than the Mangudai. Let's check the attack speed. 88, 088 second attack speed, 150 attack speed. Okay. Okay. Oh no, pardon me. 212 attack speed. Okay. I think someone needs to buff these Mangudai, please. Please buff the Mangudai. I'd love to see that. So, yeah. Okay, let's see how they trade. Because at one point we're going to trade. Yeah, so in many situations the horse archers are better than the Mangudai. Okay, I'm micromanaging my Mangudai. And also an advantage with the Mangudai is the fact that they can shoot from when they're running. And I should have followed. I don't know why I ran away. I'm not sure why I ran away. I should have followed this army because my army was pretty strong nonetheless, despite having 8 Kasheks only. What about him? 8 Lancers. Lancers? No, they're nice. 24 damage. 25. 25. 25. With the Kurultai. Okay, let's check trade. I have 11 traders. I should have gotten 4 more in order to get the bonus, tier 3 bonus. The food is also welcome. I'm not sure. It's just 3 wood, 3 of each separate extra units, extra resources. I should have taken this one and put it here maybe, or even in the corner. I noticed his villagers, and this is where he lost. This is where he lost. Just watch his corner drop. Yeah, this is where my opponent lost. And I don't know what he was doing. I think he was walling up, but nah, it was not a good idea. And now he's coming with his army. I have 10 spearmen, which is okay. I'm running with my main army, and now I notice the horse archer are just killing off the spearmen, which is also okay, because now I have cleared up some knights, and I can go in with my cavalry units, and I can just take the rest of his units. And did you see his micromanagement? He tried to charge in with his cavalry and horse archers. He also brought his horse archers forward. Notice how my Mangudai are always like in the back and not in the front. I always protect the Mangudai so I can safely create a mass of Mangudai. I'm trying not to get them killed. I'd much rather get my Kashik or horseman killed. And this was GG. So as you can see, we didn't reach Imperial, and you might have noticed on my channel I'm not covering Imperial Age, and I'm not a very good Imperial Age player, so by the time we get Imperial Age, usually it's not in my favor anymore, because I also lose focus. But what I'm usually talking about is the feudal and maybe early castle strategies, and that's what I'm usually aiming for and going for. This particular matchup, I had an advantage quite from the early beginning because I got the villagers, and it was quite late when he took over the economy lead. Just because I managed to kill maybe 5 or 6 villagers, it's enough to balance out the fact that your opponent is going for a second town center. So you can balance that out pretty easily by building a market, creating 5 to 10 traders in the until late feudal, early castle. When you're in castle, go for 15 traders. In my opinion, then you are pretty okay economy-wise compared to your 2 town center opponent. And try to delay the town center as much as possible. This will create an advantage because people who go for second TC, except for English is a bit more difficult to counter. People who go for a second TC, they kind of sacrifice their villagers because they don't play so defensively, for example, on the stone mine, like an Ayyubid player would defend his gold mine with a tower. You don't see a Rus player building towers, you don't see Abbasid player building towers at the stone mine, so use that to your advantage and they will eventually gather their stone. This is why it's also important maybe to have a second scout and to see where your opponent is placing his second town center and try to attack there as well. Since your opponent is going to town centers, they're going to use up much more resources from the map, so they will spread out. Use this to your advantage as well, because you will have the military advantage at that point, and you will have the military advantage even later on until Castle Age. They might catch up at one point, yes, but it's about killing enough workers. And that's how you counter a second town center from your opponent. Okay, hope it was useful. See you in the next one.